One of my sons, every time he wants to tickle me, it hurts a lot. So, but his intention want to play with me, but he ended up causing more harm. How did the Prophet deal with that? One day, they were praying Jama'ah in the masjid, and a young boy wanted to join the Jama'ah, but he was late. So he came running and rushing, and he made so much noise and disturbance, and he had wudu water, and he made so much mess all around. And when he prayed, everyone got disturbed by him. After the salah, everyone was staring at him, except the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told him, زادك الله حرصا ولا تعود. The technique is reward the intention, correct the behavior. Your daughter is trying to help you with the dishes. Thank you, sweetie, for trying to help me. But next time, hold it with both hands. Right? Your son is trying to do something, but thank you for your intent. I like what you wanted to do, but let me tell you how to do it better next time. Because most of the times, if your son or your daughter or the youth in the masjid are trying to do something right with good intention, but they end up causing damage, and we yell at them, we break their hearts. We make them sad. They wanted to do something good, but they messed up. So the Prophet ﷺ actually taught them, he praised the intention and he corrected the behavior. And sometimes the Prophet ﷺ actually, if he sees someone doing something, they teach him how to do it right. And that's one of the things of the Prophet ﷺ's methods. Another method is what the Prophet ﷺ will have logical discussion. A young boy, young man, old teenager, came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, I believe in Islam and I accept everything in it, but I want you to allow me to commit zina. I want you to allow me to commit zina. I will pray, I will not drink alcohol, I will not worship the idols, but I want you to give me the permission to commit adultery. Now imagine if someone comes to the Imam nowadays and tells the Imam, I want you to allow me to have a girlfriend. Or someone goes to their father and say, Father, I want you to allow me to do that. We as parents will lose it. We'll start getting yelling, screaming, haram, astaghfirullah. No. The Prophet sat down with him and he held a logical conversation, common sense, until the young man says, okay, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. He explained to him why it's wrong. He explained to him why it's harmful. He told him, would you like that to your sister? Would you like that to your mother? And he said, that's how others don't like it to their family members. So he said, okay, I'm not going to do it. Many times, our kids, nowadays, you will face this challenge. Maybe your sons with their children. They will come and tell you, I want to go to the prom. I want to go to this party at school. I want to have a boyfriend. I want to have a girlfriend. If you get angry and you say it's haram, and no, you can actually cause a reaction to the other side. I see a lot of youth nowadays who are far from Islam, far from their families, far from the masjid, because their parents did not have the logical reasoning why not to do that. Because if you just say it's haram, that's it. Everyone at school telling them it's fine. Everyone is telling them why they should do it. We should have common sense and logic when we say why we don't celebrate Christmas, why we don't do this, why we don't do that. A man says this story that his daughter came and told him that I like a boy that we are chatting, we are on social media together. So the man could have get angry, could have canceled her subscription, take away her phone. He was very smart and he said, you know what, next time you chat or you talk with them online, let me be next to you. So he sat down next to her and she's texting and he started telling her, ask him that, answer this, ask him that, to the point that she realized that this is a bad person. I should not be talking to him. Said, I'm sorry, Father, I'm not going to do this again. This common sense, it's very important that we use when we are dealing with our young kids. We have to connect with him on that, just like the Prophet ﷺ did. Another technique of the Prophet ﷺ is quietness when you are fixing a problem or a mistake of the youth. Not to say anything, just act. One day the Prophet walked into the masjid. There were like a bunch of young boys in the masjid playing, and one of them spat on the floor. When the Prophet came and saw on the floor, the spit on the floor, he knew that it's there. But he did not say anything. He did not tell them, who did that? Why did you do that? He said, there is some filth on the floor. I'm going to clean it. Can anyone help me? So the boy who did it came running to help the Prophet cleaning it. And that is another technique that we can do to fix the mistakes of our children. Also, the Prophet sometimes would not say to the person directly, why did you do that? He will make a public general announcement. It's very common that the Prophet will hear about someone did something wrong. He will stand up on the minbar and he will say, مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ فَعَلُوا كَذَا وَكَذَا. What's wrong with some people? Why would some people do this and do that? He did not say who, but he made it a general comment. The people or the kids who did it, they will realize that they did something wrong. And that's another thing. If let's say at home, one of your sons, one of your daughters did something wrong, instead of embarrassing them in front of everybody, instead of making them feel humiliated, make it a general announcement. Sit down with your kids and say, one of you is doing so and so. I don't know who, I don't want to know who, but this is wrong and this is how we should be doing it. Preserve their dignity, preserve their karama. And this is one of the techniques of the Prophet. He always paid attention to the self-esteem of the child. He never humiliated or insulted children in public. Because it's very important that we preserve their dignity. You know, any civilization did not reach high level of advancement without paying attention to child psychology. Have you heard about a traveler named Ibn Battuta?
Yes.
You've heard about Ibn Battuta? Ibn Battuta was a Muslim traveler, one of the first travelers around the world, who went and traveled all around the world. And he wrote down in his book what he saw in every country that he visited. The amazing things that he saw in other parts of the world. He said, when I was walking in the streets of Beirut, I saw something amazing. We were walking and a young boy was walking and holding a pot. He was going to fill it with something. So he tripped, he fell, and he broke the pot. Now the pot on the floor in pieces. He said, I was surprised to see that some men who were standing by picked him up, picked up the broken pieces of the pot, and took him to a store. The store took the broken pieces and gave him a brand new pot. When I asked about that, they said this is like a non-profit organization, waqf, endowment. It's called Waqful Kasura, the endowment of the broken pot. The job or the purpose of this store or this endowment is that anytime a child breaks a pot, they will replace it with a brand new pot at no charge, so his father or his boss at work won't yell at him. Look how much they care about the psychology of the child. When children are in the masjid, we have to make sure that we are not putting them down. We're not, one of the biggest mistakes that parents, teachers, youth advisors, imams do when they're dealing with children is yelling at them in a very angry way. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ never did that. You know, when you're very angry with your son and you're yelling at him all the time and you're being so aggressive and violent with him, you're ruining his self-esteem. You're ruining his self-confidence. His personality becomes weak. And believe me, when high school kids have weak personalities, they will do anything their friends tell them to do. But if they have strong personalities, they will say, no, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke. I don't have to do what you're asking me to do. Weak personalities, they'll do anything just to be accepted and blend in with the others. At work, the same. So we want to build strong personalities. Don't allow yourself to stand up about that little kid and yell and yell. You will shatter that personality. Not only that, shaitan will come to their mind and tell them your dad hates you. You know how many times I get a call from a father telling me, please come and help me. What? Next week is my birthday. It's my daughter's 18th birthday. And she's leaving the house. Next week is my son's 18th birthday. And they're leaving us. Once our children are 18 years old, we have no power, no control over them at all. They can just simply leave. They can leave Islam. They can leave the house. They can leave the masjid. Legally, we cannot do anything about it. Right? So, if we are always bombarding them with yelling and aggressiveness, once they're able to, they will leave. They can sue you. Right? So, we have to be very careful not to do that. 5 minutes? Perfect. Almost done. Also, one of the mistakes or one of the effects of being angry and yelling at them all the time is we create hypocrites. How many times you've heard about a son or a daughter who acts perfectly like angels in front of their parents, but behind their parents' back, they do all the wrong things because they're afraid of their parents. One of the mistakes that we do is sometimes we discipline or yell or get angry at our children for something very silly. Mother yelling at their son because the shirt does not match the pants. Just teach them fashion, but without getting angry. Sometimes we discipline our children without telling them why. And the kid's like, I don't know why mother is angry. I don't know why my dad is angry. I didn't do anything wrong. Tell them why. One of the biggest mistakes is that we treat teenagers like kids. That's the biggest complaint I get from teenagers. My parents think I'm still a little child. You have to change the way you deal with your children as they grow. Give them a little bit more freedom as they reach college age, before high school. Give them a little bit more of leeway. Let them make their own decisions. If you say something to them that you think it's wrong, say apology. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with that. When your son or your daughter are in their high school age, try to get them involved in making decisions for the family. You know what? You want to buy a car? Let your daughter do the research. You want to buy a house? Let your son do the research. You want to go for a family trip? Let them plan for it completely. Teach them how to make decisions at a young age. You're there to help them and advise them. So these are some of the things that I thought about in this short time. And these are some of the techniques of the Prophet ﷺ in dealing with our children. We are facing major challenges nowadays in America. We're facing a challenge of atheism. It's a very powerful movement nowadays. Rejecting anything that has to do with God. The first thing they learn in psychology and physiology classes in school that they should not believe in God. They have to understand that. And it's very powerful. There is all this homosexuality thing that's going around, the LGBT thing. I get calls all the time. Now in California, it's so sad that at 7th grade, they're asking young kids, are you this or that? Or this or that? They're confusing kids. I get calls from parents. In the past year, 10 parents called me, telling me, please help me. My daughter thinks she's so-and-so. Please help me, my son. Because they're asking them and they're confusing them at a young age. So this is also another challenge that we're facing. There is also the challenge of creating weak Muslim generation who is embarrassed from their faith, embarrassed from their identity. You know, the masjid, you're all leaders of masajid, and I'm amazed by how many masjids Muna has in this area. I've heard they're closing another one in Delaware, I think, or something.
Delaware.
So that's a 20th masjid? 23 masjid? You know what I say the masjid is like? It's like the ship of Nuh. Right? Nuh alayhi salam, there was a flood coming. We live in a flood right now. A flood of immorality, a flood of irreligiosity, a flood of atheism, a lot of bad morals. We need a ship. You have 23 ships, mashallah. You have a 23 arks that can save your families and take them to the shores of safety. But if we are not welcoming young people to those ships, they're not going to come. They're going to be like the son of Noah. No, I don't need you. I'm going to be on the mountain and I'll be safe. You know the story, right? We don't want those our sons to be. We want our sons to join us on the ark, on the ship. But if we don't make the place welcoming for them, if they come and do something wrong and we yell at them, they're not going to come back. One day I was leading the prayer in the masjid, and there was a 12, 13-year-old kid who came early, very happy, and want to pray in the first line right behind the imam. And he was sitting down in the spot waiting for the salah to start. Right when they did the iqamah, what do you think happened?
Go back.
I wish some guy pulled him from his shirt and go back. I got so upset. I told him, come on, hold on, come here. And I asked him to pray next to me, next to the imam. Now, we have to pay attention to these little things that we can ruin the future of our children easily with it. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you all the success and the tawfiq. There's so much to learn from the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's so much to benefit. And what we need to do is we need to build young imams. We need to create imams who can connect with the youth in that way. I come representing Bayan Islamic University, and you have flyers in front of you, right? Yeah. This university's job is to create American trained imams, 2 years master's degree, so that the imams can go back and help in their masjid. If you have imams in your masajid, in your 23 masjid, let them get a master's degree with Bayan. It will make them even much better imams, stronger imams, who can deal and handle you. If you have young people who wants to become imams, let them get their bachelor's degree and then come and get their master's from Bayan University. They can make a huge difference and impact in the societies when they go back to their masajid. If you like to support Bayan University, because we also go to poor communities, especially in the African American community who have no ability to train imams, we tell them we will train your imams for you. We have a scholarship fund that we can pay for their education, and they go back to your masjid and teach you Islam and teach your kids Islam. So there is a flyer. If you want to give your zakah to this scholarship that train poor imams and poor communities, you are more than welcome to support this. You can do it online. You can just put your donation in it and just mail it out. I ask Brother Chowdhury or anybody who can collect it from you later on, inshallah, and support this amazing university. Jazakumullah khair, it was my pleasure. I do have a flight to catch, and you have a program to continue. But if you have a comment or question, I'm more than happy to take anything before I leave. Any questions?
Just two questions, one from sister, one from brother. Sister first. Okay. Any question from sister side?
Any question from sister side? So two brothers.
Two brothers. One brother is here.
Yes.
One thing.
Question.
Secularism. The main problem in our community or religion is secularism. The secularism, it is right or wrong? First question.